Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm Ftobe. I'm here reacting to another video. This time it's called 15 Things You Didn't Know About Sweden. So let's get to it.
This is Travel Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, we present you with another incredible country. Today, we're looking at 15 things you didn't know about Sweden. Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired.
Uh, let's skip to the part that they start with the things here.
Number 1. Swedes pay a lot of taxes. Sweden is
That I knew.
notorious for having one of the highest tax rates in the world, which would normally be considered bad, especially in the US. The current tax rate is 51.4% of the GDP, and the country uses a progressive income tax rating system. For example, if you earn more than $72,543 per year, 31% goes to income tax, and your employer also has to pay 25% for social fees. However, Swedes love this about their country so much so that a
Okay, I don't know if Swedes love this. If you are a Swedish watching this, you can comment. I don't know if they love it, but I think they understand that it's good, right? Uh, for me, I'm Chilean. For me, listening to this is not terrible because I know that they have a really strong welfare system, so it makes sense.
tax is called a skatt, which means treasure in Swedish. That is because they receive free education, including zero university taxes and healthcare, since 27% of taxes are invested in these areas. Police and the
Really
military
good.
get only 5%, while 42% goes to social security. Number 2. Swedish fathers get a lot of days off for parental leave. Having a child is stressful enough, and a lot of that stress is finding time off work to care for a newborn. Not to mention that normally, government policies
Those eyes.
favor maternity leave, meaning that new fathers usually get to spend less time with the children. Well, certainly the Swedish government thinks that this is not okay. Sweden is also a big promoter of gender equality and currently gives 480 days off work to new parents that can split it however they like to care for their child. Actually, the country was the first to allow families to divide the leave, and 390 days of that are subsidized with taxpayer money. Number 3.
I knew about that, and I think that's great. Of course, I think about myself, like if I ever had a kid, I don't know. Um, would be really nice to have some time to spend and help, right? And just see the little kid growing and not just be worried about work all the time. So yeah, sounds amazing. Good job, Sweden.
Stockholm is one of the greenest cities in the world. Sweden is big on ecology, so big, in fact, that its capital, Stockholm, was the first to receive the European Green Capital Award, which is given by the European Union. It also means that the capital is one of the cleanest cities worldwide, giving us an
Nice.
example of what real sustainable living looks like. For example, these buses are fueled with methane from sewage systems instead of oil, and the
What?
recycling rate of the whole city is around 90%. There are also a lot of
90%.
parks, and they've even managed to redevelop an area that was once a toxic industrial site called Hammarby Sjöstad. It now has more than 25,000 people living there who use car sharing, live in green buildings, and benefit from high-tech waste management systems. It's also said that Stockholm will cease using fossil fuel by 2050.
That is really, really pretty images. Also, really good that Sweden is so green.
Number 4. Sweden is a world leader in terms of innovation. You wouldn't know it today, but Sweden used to be one of the poorest countries in Europe just 100 years ago. It all
What?
changed when the country started investing heavily in its infrastructure and, of course, in its people. Sweden has less
That's the thing, right? Like, I mean, I didn't know they were one of the poorest 100 years ago, but with the welfare system that they have, with the tax, it's like you're investing in your people. So really good.
than 10 million people, but ranks among the highest in terms of global innovation. The stable political climate, high quality education, and promotion of creative ideas has given the world quite a few successful companies. AstraZeneca, Electrolux, Skype, Spotify, IKEA, just to name a few of the
Spotify
world famous
and
businesses that are
IKEA.
Swedish. The country is literally driving world innovation, and we want to know what they'll come up with next. Number 5. The H&M magnate is the richest person in Sweden with a net worth of $16.4 billion.
Okay. I mean, I didn't know, but I'm guessing that the IKEA guy must, I don't know his name, but there must be a guy. Uh, he must be pretty rich too, or not?
Everyone knows H&M, but few people know the company is actually Swedish. The first store was opened in 1947 by
Venice.
Erling Persson and since became a global fashion empire. Erling's son, Stefan, is now Sweden's richest person with a net worth of 16.4 billion US dollars as of 2018. He's now the chairman of H&M, lives in Stockholm, and has founded the Mentor Foundation, a non-profit that helps young people who are struggling with substance abuse issues. The Persons like to keep business in the family, since his son, Carl Johan, has taken over as the CEO of H&M in 2009.
Well, that's not surprising. That happens everywhere.
Number 6. Sweden lost out on an $85 billion deal with Norway. Sweden has a great economy and is one of the happiest countries in the world. However, its neighbor, Norway, is way better off, and it's all thanks to the oil. Norway
have
is
the oil.
insanely rich because of its oil and gas resources, which make up 22% of the country's GDP. It is, of course, one of the highest in the world. But in the 1970s, they had mostly no idea how much oil they actually had and proposed an agreement that went like this. They would give oil concessions to Sweden in exchange for lumber and 40% of Volvo, the biggest Swedish company at the time. Volvo shareholders, however, rejected the proposal in 1979, and the
Well, it wasn't that Sweden lost the money though. It was that shareholders of Volvo, or no?
deal fell through big time. That same deal would have been worth $85 billion today. Ironically, Volvo sold in 2014 for just $1.5 billion.
Just for one. Yeah, what I mean by that is that just the decisions that some guys took affected the rest. Not it was like the government or whatever. But yeah, anyways, that is pretty regrettable. And I know that Norway has a lot of oil.
Number 7. The Nobel Prize for Literature is in jeopardy. Each year, the prestigious Swedish Academy awards the highly coveted Nobel Prize to the most valuable scientists, writers, economists, and great thinkers of the world. It has had its series of controversial events in the past, but this year they will not award a Nobel Prize for Literature since a shocking scandal has taken over the Academy. It turns
Wait, what year was this? 2018.
out that several women have accused Jean-Claude Arnault, a photographer and husband of a Swedish Academy member, of sexual assault. What's more, he abused his status several times in the past to reveal the names of Nobel Prize winners prior to the official
Oh my
announcement.
God.
The permanent secretary, Sarah Danius, has even resigned from her position following the scandal. It seems that Arnault is no stranger to controversy. In 2006, he reportedly groped Swedish Crown Princess Victoria at a
What?
formal event, according to some news publications.
Oh my God.
Number 8. Drinking alcohol is highly regulated by the Swedish government. This is something that most people find shocking about Sweden. It's a free country in all respects, but actually has rules in place that promote certain behaviors for its citizens. In the 19th century, it was legal to make your own alcohol at home, and apparently, Swedes drank a lot. So much so that moderate societies started to appear.
Well, it's really cold in Sweden, so you need to keep the warm.
And nowadays you can actually buy alcohol in supermarkets. Well, only drinks that contain 3.5% alcohol at most. So if you want to throw a party, you would
How do you pronounce that? Systembolaget. And yeah, I've heard about this that they it's like a place where they just sell alcohol and it's open from certain hour to in the night, so it's not you cannot buy alcohol at all times.
would normally go to a Systembolaget, the state-owned liquor store.
Bolaget.
Oh, and you can't purchase it if you're not 20 years old. As a consequence, Systembolaget is one of the world's biggest buyers of spirits and other alcoholic beverages. Number 9. Sweden and Finland fight over where Santa Claus lives.
Is this true? This really true? Please, someone is from Sweden or Finland, please comment. Uh, as far as I understand, I don't want to start a war, but Santa Claus is from Finland. Uh, I've never heard that it's from Sweden. So let's see what they say.
On a lighter note, did you know that Santa Claus lives in Sweden? Or no, was it Finland? Believe it or not, this is a debate that the two countries have, and the results are inconclusive. That is because Lapland, the magical northern territory of the Northern Lights, amazing sights and reindeer, is actually divided between the northern parts of both countries. Finland also has the Santa Claus Village, which you can find Santa's main post office and other attractions. But according to Swedish researchers, it makes more sense for Santa to be in Sweden.
According to Swedish researchers. Good job. Uh, well, they can put him on the border and world peace is achieved.
The geography department at the Swedish university has used satellite images to calculate what would be the mean center of the global population. Based on that, a Swedish town called Jokkmokk would be the best location for gift distribution purposes.
Wow. I didn't know they went to such lengths to solve this.
Number 10. IKEA is the world's most profitable furniture company. Don't lie, you definitely have a piece of furniture in your home that you've assembled yourself,
sure.
and most likely it's an IKEA product. The company was founded by then 17-year-old Ingvar Kamprad in 1947 and has won over the world with its Scandinavian chic designs. In 2016 alone, the company had a revenue of 35 billion euro, or
Whoa.
$41 billion. Kamprad was also the richest Swedish person and probably the richest in the country's history as well, with an estimated net worth of $58 billion before his death in January of 2018. Want to find out some more about IKEA? We've got you covered, Aluxers. Make sure to watch our 15 Things You Didn't Know About IKEA video.
Wow.
Number 11. Swedes invented a green fitness craze. Swedish people enjoy working out in nature and saving the environment, so it was only a matter of time before this happened. Apparently, what you have to do is jog, but also pick up litter on your way, and it's called plogging. The trend has even started to spread to other countries as well. Ploggers use the hashtag plogging on Instagram to promote this new type of workout. Apparently, they have succeeded in gathering communities of people all over the world that are committed to having a cleaner environment.
That's really
So maybe
nice.
next time you put on your running shoes, you might want to pick up that annoying plastic bottle on the sidewalk as well. Number
Really?
2. Sweden's national food obsessions are not so Swedish. Another
How
thing
can you
that
say
Sweden
that?
is known for is its relative openness to receive and integrate immigrants. Swedes enjoy fika, a tradition that says you should take at least one break period per day to enjoy coffee and eating Swedish meatballs for lunch. However, the meatball recipe has come under scrutiny lately, since they are, well, not so Swedish. The recipe was brought from Turkey, which was then known as the Ottoman Empire in the 18th century by King Charles XII. It was subsequently integrated in with the local cuisine along with a taste for really strong coffee. The president of the Turkish Corporation for Coordination Agency went on to say that IKEA should not sell the famous meatballs as if they were a Swedish dish.
Nah, it's fine. I think it's fine
IKEA
because
should not sell the famous meatballs as if they were a Swedish dish.
what it's not like Turkey has copyright. Also, I know like in Sweden they have a lot of potatoes, so the mash certainly something that they ate a lot. The lingonberry sauce, very Swedish. And how they eat them, I think is the Swedish part more than the food itself, because potatoes and meatballs are everywhere, right? So it depends how they eat them. Um, it's really good. It's really good. I love meatballs.
Dish. Number 13. It's illegal to spank children in Sweden.
That's good.
A pretty worrying statistic says that 80% of Americans have admitted to hitting their young children, according to CNN. In
How many?
that 80% of Americans have admitted to hitting their young children,
That's a
according to
lot.
CNN. In fact, it's not quite illegal to punish children in that manner at all in the US. There are two camps, the one that's against corporal punishment and the one that says it's okay to spank children from time to time. Sweden, however, was the first country to ban this type of punishment, considering it abuse. Nowadays, Swedish parents rarely hit children in any way, and their example has been followed by around 30 countries.
Really good.
Schools are also places where corporal punishment is prohibited, and it really seems to be working out great for them. The whole philosophy is that children should be disciplined gently. Hitting will only break trust between child and carer, and that will lead to long-term negative effects, such as behavioral problems.
Exactly. And positive reinforcement is where everything is right now. And that's where your focus should be.
Number 14. ABBA is Sweden's most beloved export. At the height of their fame,
Mm, I don't know. I prefer Billard, the candies. Those are the most beloved export for me. But sure.
ABBA was second only to carmaker Volvo as the biggest Swedish export. The band was so famous that it sold around 500 million records and were the biggest best-selling artists for the non-English speaking world.
I don't know if a lot of Swedish people know this, but ABBA has recorded in different languages, or at least in Spanish, because in Chile they play in the radio ABBA songs, but they're in Spanish. So maybe if you go to Chile someday and you listen to the radio, you're going to be like, "What? This sounds familiar." And yeah, it's ABBA. They're singing in a different language.
As Swedes, this is a huge deal since they topped the charts in the 70s in the UK, Ireland, Canada, and of course the US. And apparently, what makes this band still insanely popular is the fact they're relatable, sweet lyrics, and music that was inspired by Swedish folk songs and bands like the Beatles and the Beach Boys. What's more, the four members have decided to reunite after a 35-year hiatus and will release new music in December 2018. Number 15. The three-point seatbelt is a Swedish invention. We have a
I
lot to
didn't know.
thank Sweden for. ABBA, Skype, Spotify, the pacemaker, HIV tracker, and of course, the seatbelt. We take it for granted, but back in the day, it wasn't a requirement for cars, or at least it was less efficient during collisions. Safety engineer Nies Bolin was working in 1959 for carmaker Volvo when he invented the three-point V-shaped seatbelt that is specially created to protect people during an accident. Thankfully, Volvo had made an open patent, which means that every car manufacturer had the right to use the
Wow,
design free of charge.
that wouldn't happen today.
Make no mistake, every car in the world uses it nowadays, and it probably has saved around 1 million lives so far,
1 million
according to
lives.
Britain's Royal Society for the Prevention of Accidents.
That is an invention.
Now, that was all for today, Alexers, but before you go, we're curious to know what you think. Does free education lead to a more innovative society like Sweden has?
Yes.
Please leave your answer in the comments.
Um, well, that was a video. Thank you for watching. I don't know if you have some comments you want to make about the video, about one of the topics that they talk about that you think that it wasn't right, or something that they left out. Feel free to comment and like this video, and I'm going to leave the link to the original so you can check it out, check their channel. Yeah, that's it. Hope you have a great day and see you on the next one. Bye bye.